The Festival of Nations represents more than 30 countries and includes musical performers, visual artists, and dance groups. Oh, and did we mention the food? Welcome to St. Louis in Tune, and thank you for joining us for fresh perspectives on issues and events with experts, community leaders, and everyday people who are driving change and making an impact that shapes our society and world. I'm Arnold Stricker, along with co-host Mark Langston. Mark, greetings to you today.
Greetings and salutations.
Yes,
yeah.
All of those words that go along with that.
It's good to see you.
It's been a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's summertime here in St. Louis. So we take the vacations, take some time off, go a little slower.
Melt away in the heat.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
We have a great show planned, and our guest has been on the show several times. But I want to start with our return to civility because it relates to the organization that he works with. Be patient and speak clearly when speaking with a person who does not have English as their first language. Picture yourself in a different country with a different language dealing with people who are impatient. That's tough.
You're not kidding, especially driving.
Yeah, that's another language there.
That truly is.
No,
You're
and
right.
sometimes if you've been to a foreign country, and I know many Americans, they expect other foreigners, when they go to another country, to speak English, but it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
Certain countries, they don't want to speak English, and they may understand you, but it's always good to try to learn a couple phrases. But imagine now the shoe's on the other foot, and we have immigrants who have come in, and they're just learning the language, and we become impatient when they're not communicating exactly the way we expect them to.
I think patience is the best word to use for it. You need to be patient, understanding. Try to understand what's going on.
And I know there are some people who think if I speak louder,
that's my favorite,
or slowly,
that's going to make a difference.
It's really an insult kind of a thing.
Right.
So just be patient with people and speak clearly.
So we do this Spanish broadcast of the Cardinals and of the St. Louis City SC, and I find myself around quite a few broadcasters that speak Spanish. I don't, other than hola. It's pretty rough for me.
Right.
And their English is a little broken up too. So I've had to have a lot of patience, but they've had patience with me too.
Correct.
It goes both ways.
It does work both ways.
Yeah, it really does. Okay.
Ariel Benson, he's president and CEO of the International Institute of St. Louis, is in studio, and they're coming up on the Festival of Nations, which will be in Tower Grove Park, August 24 and 25. So save that date, folks. And it's a great time to celebrate music, food, flavors, art, and culture from around the world. Ari, welcome back to St. Louis in Tune.
Thank you all for having me. It's a pleasure to be back here and it's a time of the year where we talk about a festival, and this year is going to be another incredible festival. It's growing in size. I've always said that this festival will become America's largest multicultural festival, and I think that we're moving in that direction. The footprint has increased. We're doing it across the entire park.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
And what is unique this year, because in subsequent years we had people come, and last year we had food from 80 countries from around the world. And this year, what we have done is we've included a part of the festival that is called So St. Louis, also bringing in St. Louis culture to the festival, because we're getting also people coming from outside St. Louis.
Right.
And we want them to leave the festival learning something of St. Louis. So be sure to have emos and to have toasted raviolis, tetros, things that are unique to St. Louis that when you go outside, you don't find. Our whole objective really is to position St. Louis as really a multicultural city that people can come from everywhere around the world and feel comfortable. And the festival is just a window, it's a 2-day window into the rich cultural heritage that St. Louis has. That I hope that it doesn't end at the festival, but this is something that we're going to continue leaving all through the year until we come back again.
Mark, I think when Eric's talking about this and we talk about multicultural, and if you can't afford or don't have the time to go to another country to experience another culture, this is a great opportunity to be introduced through food, through dance, through music, and really experience and dress, how people dress, a really good way to experience other cultures.
It's the real deal. These are really folks that are from these countries. And
you get exposed to authentic cultures from these various countries in one weekend. You don't have to buy a ticket to go to Peru to experience Peruvian culture, Peruvian cuisine, Peruvian art, Peruvian clothing. And the more you get to learn about these cultures, the more you get to see how we are similar, that humankind is similar in many ways. And food, music, dance, art are all ways in which we express ourselves. And the festival just gives us that unique opportunity to walk in each other's shoes and understand what we see as differences are more the things that can bring us together. We, as a community, we do better, we're stronger, we're more prosperous when we embrace those different cultures.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. And I'm glad to see the St. Louis kind of accent on people from other cities and other states coming in. This is how many years now? It started in 1934. Oh my gosh, I'll have to do my math real quick here. But it's been attended by over 100,000 people, 80 nations, and you mentioned some of the music. I've got like Mexican, Vietnamese, African American, Afro-Latin, Panamanian, Caribbean, French, Scottish, Egyptian, Chinese, and regular just plain old American. We've got, just to name a few there.
Right. Yeah.
But Mai Lee and Lisa Ramey, and we've got Courtney Jamal Pollard, a.k.a. Molly Music, Manny Welts, are going to be some of the keynote, some of the headliners there.
Yeah. And Mai Lee is really an interesting story because her family came here and we helped to integrate this community by the International Institute. So she's grown full circle and now has become a celebrity representing St. Louis around the world, and she will be gracing the Festival of Nations as a headliner. It's the story of the work of the International Institute. I say our work is woven through the streets of St. Louis.
That's true.
By the people that the organization has served, who have now gone to serve the community. And that's how we build a stronger community.
Her family, I know her and tried to have her on. She had a previous engagement, so we'll have her on another time. Her family has become a real vital, component of the community. And that's what I think you like to see all of the immigrants who come into the States, who come into this local area, become a part and a fixture and a support structure for other parts of the community.
Absolutely. And we don't say this often, but even if you look at the history of St. Louis, you look at the names of streets, you look at parts of the community, they represent the various cultures that have come to St. Louis in the past. And these people that are arriving now are really an integral part of what the future of St. Louis will look like.
That's a great point.
And being able to connect the past with the present and the future is what the Festival of Nations really creates, an opportunity for us to see that German cultural dance group that's going to be performing. At one time, they were new to St. Louis. People were even struggling to understand that culture. Right. And so too, as time goes on, we have different groups that are coming. We just need to find a way to marry these different cultures. And so the festival, which interestingly, the first multicultural festival in the United States was started here in St. Louis in 1920 by the International Institute.
Oh my.
Documented. And then the Festival of Nations starting out in 1934. But even back then, remember that at the time, 1919, 50% of the population of St. Louis was foreign-born. And since then, it's declined to about 5% now.
Oh my.
And the national average is about 15%. whilst we are a multicultural society, we really need to do more to attract the immigrant population into St. Louis. And I think something like the Festival of Nations makes people feel like, oh, this can be home. Oh, this is home. Oh, I am welcome here. I feel like I am part of this community. I can be counted and recognized, and my culture can be embraced. It's not that my food is not a shame. It is something that I need to be proud of. That my cultural outfit is something that can be embraced by my neighbor. That all of my art and culture from my country can be appreciated by people in this community. Those are the things that make people feel like they too have a stake in building a prosperous community.
Prosperous community. I think, okay, put the shoe on the other foot. We go to another country and we wear our dress and we bring our food and we bring our music. And how do they view us? Are we embraced by them? Are we accepted? Are they inquisitive? Do they want to know more about us and our language and everything like that?
Right.
You have to put the shoe on the other foot, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's 90 years, by the way.
Okay, you did the math.
I did the math.
I should have done that quick math.
I know, but 90 years is a long time. I cannot think of any other festival in the St. Louis area. Maybe you could help me with that. That's been around for 90 years. Right. And going strong, getting, like Ari says, getting better all the time, getting bigger. And we've been there, the radio station's been there the last few years, and it's really, what a wonderful day, a couple of days it is. And it is a big festival. And it's going to take you a couple of days to see everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't want to say the World's Fair, but it's like that.
It
where
is
you
like
go to a
that.
park and you walk around. There's three main stages, or three stages now. And there's going to be a separate food area and a separate where individuals would sell their goods. And things like that. So that's just crazy.
It's a great atmosphere, too. The people are just so warm and friendly and loving.
Yes.
It really is. I really enjoy the festival a lot. I've come to really love it.
Now, a couple of things. Will people accept like credit cards, or should they have cash, or are there ATM machines? Because I know sometimes in previous years it was like, oh, we're only taking cash. Or
now I think we're really encouraging for it to be cashless. There would still be, people will still collect cash, but we're encouraging for it to be a lot more cashless. The times have changed. We don't want people to be carrying a lot of cash with them, especially our vendors when they're leaving in the evening. So we're encouraging it to be cashless. That's our ask for people. But obviously, it's an inclusive festival, because one thing I must say is that the festival continues to be free to the public. We're committed to keeping it free to the public, but I also need the public to know that it costs money to put together this amazing experience, and that there is a cost to it. So we encourage people to bring their credit cards. You can now pay using your phones, but obviously some of the vendors and of course people who do not have access to credit cards and all of that can still buy with cash.
I want to give the website. It's FEST of Nations, festofnations.com, or you can go to iistl.org and click on the Festival of Nations there. So August the 24th and 25th, some of the things I know you may need some more volunteers.
Yep, it's going to take about 600 people to make this work.
That's
yeah, last year we had about 486. This year I think we're increasing now. We need about 600 volunteers to make this happen. And always grateful these volunteers pour their hearts into this event. So people can sign up as volunteers for various functions to support the festival. It's a community festival, so it's only made possible by people in this community. So I want to thank everyone who has signed up, but I'm going to ask for more people who want to sign up to go to the website, festofnations.com, and they can sign up.
There's a Get Involved tab, and I just pushed that right now, and there's a place for volunteering. And maybe you can only do like a morning or an afternoon or one day. That's okay. Just get on the website, learn how to become a volunteer, and there's also, you have a VIP Oasis Pass. What's that all about, Ari?
Oh, one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites.
We've we're using the Piper Palm House in the park, in Tower Grove Park, and we've created what we call a VIP oasis. It's typically a place that's air-conditioned, that has toilets, that you could go back there when it gets too hot at the outside. But we're also going to be doing sampling of the various meals from the vendors. The vendors are committing to provide samples in the VIP oasis. But the VIP oasis is also another way in which we try to generate revenue to cover the cost of the festival. So if you really want to support the festival, buying a VIP ticket at $150 for 2 days, which comes with parking.
Ooh,
you have parking, and then access to sampling meals. You have access to air conditioning, and you have access to be closer to the stage. You will be helping the Festival of Nations cover its cost, but you would also have a lot of good perks that come with it.
Now, you think about going out to a nice restaurant, you can drop $150 really easily. And this is even a 2-day where you can sample a lot of international food and get the air conditioning. But I will also stress the parking. Because unless you're down there early,
that's right,
and find a place to park, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be walking quite a ways.
Well, yeah. It's
as Mark and I've discovered.
It's quite a walk, yeah. But it's worth it. But
absolutely.
Yeah, but it's nice to have private parking.
This is Arnold Stricker with Mark Langston of St. Louis in Tune. We're talking to Ariel Benson. He's president and CEO of the International Institute of St. Louis. And we're talking about the Festival of Nations. And Ari, something else. You've been nominated in the category of Best Festival in this year's St. Louis Headliner Awards.
Yep. Yes.
And people can vote for this to be like the best festival ever?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, got my vote.
And I'm hoping that we're going to outmatch any festival in St. Louis. I know we had this 2 years ago. I thought we were going to have it last year, but I don't know that we were nominated, but incredibly looking forward to the community's support. So everyone who comes out, please go to, I think it's St. Louis Today that's running.
Yes, it's go to stltoday.com/contest/STL-headliner.
Right. And let's...
What?
Go to STL Today and put...
Say that again, will you please?
It's stltoday.com/contests/STL-headliner.
Okay, all right.
So it's the headliner, St. Louis Headliner Award. So I'm hoping that we're going to be the most outstanding festival.
Yeah, I think so. I'll put that in the show notes for people so they can check that out. Yeah. So we're talking about the festival, but there's been a lot of water under the bridge here at the Institute with what's going on. And can you give us some, not just updates, but get into some of the struggles and some of the successes that have gone along the way for probably the last 6 months since we last talked to you, I think?
Yes. We have been very busy. I will put it that way. And the way I place this, and I want St. Louis to pay attention to this, I say that as a community we have a crisis, but we also have an opportunity. We have a crisis because we've seen a decline in our population for the last 20, 40 years.
Right.
Crisis because if that trend continues, it's a recipe for economic downturn, right? But on the other hand, we have seen a significant increase in arrivals of immigrants and refugees to St. Louis, which in itself is a challenging situation for the International Institute because our goal is to take everyone who comes here from arriving to thriving. We want them to succeed. But the more the numbers, the more challenging it is for us to provide that service. And for me, I see a huge opportunity for St. Louis. That we're seeing our biggest number of arrivals. We want to keep them in St. Louis so that we can reverse our population decline, grow the population, revitalize the workforce, and ignite economic growth, right? Those are the things that I see as huge opportunity. So we have been working with appeal to the community. We've seen a significant increase in donated items, increase in funding that helps us close some of the funding gaps to support these families. We are working a lot more with landlords and to be able to get more stock of housing to put people into them. But what I'd say our biggest success is really thinking about just how much we have achieved. So in the last 6 months, we've received people from nearly 30 different countries, speaking about 55 different languages.
Wow.
Now, that's a multicultural St. Louis in the making.
Yes.
Our success is going to largely depend on how we keep those families in St. Louis, how we keep them in the city, and we keep them in the city with the support that we give them, that they feel welcomed, that we put them on a path to self-sufficiency, succeeding in putting them into jobs. So for the first time, we had to begin a new initiative where, because of the scale of arrivals, we had to bring in employers to the office and talk to them about the process so that we can scale employment.
Right.
Because there is a need. So more people are working. I don't know whether you saw the recent report which says that St. Louis is amongst the top 10 now cities and fastest growing job opportunities. 31,000 jobs created. Slate reporting that one of the reasons for that growth is the immigrant population that's coming in and working. So those are some of the short-term wins that we're seeing as a community. But as we think long-term and think about how we have to invest in advanced manufacturing and a geospatial extension that's coming, we need to start now investing in bringing people, investing in training to ensure that we can be able to fill the gaps that are needed in advanced manufacturing, even in construction. We're seeing significant increase now in construction, carpentry, all of the trades. There's a need for people. So that's a win in the short term. We need to think about how we build more houses in the city, good quality, affordable housing that we can put in more people into those houses. So the last 6 months have been incredibly busy here at the Institute. We're averaging over 100 people, so about 150 average per month, which if you think about it, all of last year, I'll say in terms of refugee arrivals, it was about 760. This year, we projected 875. I can tell you now that we're already at 1,200 and the year hasn't run out. So there is something in the water. We have positioned St. Louis as a global city, and the world is paying attention. So St. Louis, get ready for what the future will look.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was going to say thank you for your leadership, Ari, because he certainly has. You have a passion. It's in your heart. We can very much tell that. 55 different languages. That has got to be a challenge to even communicate with all of these people that are coming to St. Louis to help them out.
I'm laughing because some of these languages we couldn't find translators in.
I was going to ask that.
I believe that.
We have Hausa, which is spoken in the northern part of Niger.
Oh, my.
And we couldn't find a translator. And it's not only the Institute, right? Because we don't do this work on our own. We have Athenia that are partners in healthcare that we have to send our clients there for them to do the checkups. So it's a network of people, the school district that has to enroll these children in school. So we don't just think about ourselves. It's working with all of this.
Right.
Incredible partners, because they too are being patient, they're understanding, we're working together, and in some cases we don't have answers, but we keep going, and eventually we'll find a solution.
How has the business community, as they've come in, have they been positive in the response? Have they been, I'm not quite sure. Are you willing to let us in on those kind of conversations and their reactions?
I would venture to say that this continues to be the most pleasant surprise for me since I started out at this job, is that the St. Louis community, and I wish we could say this from the mountaintop, has been extremely supportive of the work that we're doing, extremely supportive. Does that mean that more cannot be done? Obviously, there's room for improvement. What I say to businesses in the St. Louis community is that do not look at the work that you do for the Institute as just charity. Let us invest in the future of St. Louis, and everyone can play a part in that investment. Small businesses to large businesses. Make it an investment for us to grow the population of St. Louis, because everyone benefits. For us to revitalize the workforce, because we need younger people coming into the workforce. And that, in the end, will ignite an economic growth for this community that everyone will benefit from. Yes, we have had great responses from the business community, especially with our partnership with Greater St. Louis Inc. that's bringing together all the civic-minded businesses to support our work. We keep seeing innovative ways. When Gordon Ramsay was being opened, the restaurant at the Four Seasons, they really dedicated dinner to the International Institute, and a percentage of sales was dedicated to us. All of innovative things like that are ways in which we invest in St. Louis. So if you're a small business listening to us today, or a large business, I need for you to think about what the future of this community holds for your business, and invest in that future. Because what we're doing, yes, we're helping people who are coming, but those people are going to be an integral part of the future of this community. Shortly after arrival, they become tenants, they become employees, they become employers too. Some of them are employers. Some of them they pay taxes in this community. They become some of your customers for your business. They're consuming products that are produced here in St. Louis. So if we think about it holistically, it's a plus.
And I don't think people really mentally have that kind of, but we'll come back to my thought on that so I can speak to and ask Ari another question. This is Arnold Stricker with Mark Langston of St. Louis in Tune. We're talking to Ariel Benson from the International Institute, and we'll be right back. The United States has a strong tradition of welcoming newcomers and refugees. The Welcome Corps is a new service opportunity for Americans inspired to welcome those seeking freedom and safety, and in turn help strengthen their own communities. Welcome Corps is a public-private partnership that is inspired by what Americans represent to so many around the world, a beacon of hope and refuge. All it takes is a helping hand. Are you ready to learn more? Contact the International Institute of St. Louis at info@iistl.org or call 314-773-9090. That's info@iistl.org or call 314-773-9090. This is Arnold Stricker of St. Louis in Tune on behalf of the Dred Scott Heritage Foundation. In 1857, the Dred Scott decision was a major legal event and catalyst that contributed to the Civil War. The decision declared that Dred Scott could not be free because he was not a citizen. The 14th Amendment, also called the Dred Scott Amendment, granted citizenship to all born or naturalized here in our country and was intended to overturn the U.S. Supreme Court decision on July 9, 1868. The Dred Scott Heritage Foundation is requesting a commemorative stamp to be issued from the U.S. Postal Service to recognize and remember the heritage of this amendment by issuing a stamp with the likeness of the man Dred Scott. But we need your support and the support of thousands of people who would like to see this happen. To achieve this goal, we ask you to download, sign, and share the one-page petition with others. To find the petition, please go to dredscottlives.org and click on the Dred Scott Petition Drive on the right side of the page. On behalf of the Dred Scott Heritage Foundation, this has been Arnold Stricker of St. Louis in Tune.
That's Ari on the Tickle and the Ivories on the piano there.
Yeah, or he's playing the Hammond B3 there.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Hammond B3. Okay.
It's Arnold Stricker with Mark Langston of St. Louis in Tune. Welcome back. We're having a conversation with Ariel Benson, President and CEO of the International Institute of St. Louis, and we've had a discussion about the Festival of Nations. And if you missed that, you can rewind and when the podcast comes out and check some of the show notes. We're talking right now about some of the goals of the Institute and some of the things that have been going on the last 6 months. Before the break, I was thinking about that maybe many individuals, and maybe not in business, but many individuals don't think that somebody has laid the groundwork ahead of time for them that now they are reaping the benefit. And you use the word investment. So if that investment was made many years ago, we are now like we're not the main portion of the money. We're like the interest that has grown on that, and that's what we're reaping right now. And when people go out and they're looking at our community and saying, how can we help our community? It's not going to be an instantaneous, magical kind of thing where it's going to change. It's going to take a while and investment, and seeing the vision that you and the International Institute have is so critical, because I'm going back to this, and like, businesses don't grow overnight. They have to develop. And how many restaurants have gone out of business because of the pandemic, or just it doesn't make it? And so you have to have that kind of investment. I think about the Bosnian community that came, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and how strong they are. They're the largest Bosnian community in the United States. Yeah. And the investment that's made. If you're not welcome, don't feel welcome, and there's no investment, why should I stay? Yeah, and that's what you're trying to get across to people.
Yeah, absolutely. That my heart breaks when I see small restaurants, small family-owned restaurants have to close down or have to change their working hours, so reducing their access to their productivity because they can't find people to work in those restaurants. And that may just be one restaurant at the corner of the street, but that's productivity of the community that is reduced. That is income that is reduced by one person that could pay more taxes in the community. It may seem small, but it has a huge impact on the entire community. And just with the number of employers that are contacting us, asking for people to fill positions, and that they cannot find. We don't have enough people. Even as I say that we're receiving so many people, it's still not yet enough to fill the gap. And to your point, it's absolutely true. I am always impressed by this gentleman called Raza from Afghanistan who came here, and it's just been under 3 years. Raza is opening his second auto repair garage. He's currently employing 6 people, and once done with that, he will be employing 10 people in the community within 3 years of arrival in this community. Wow. And Raza would tell you he was only able to do that because of the support that the International Institute provided. We got a grant from somebody in the community, gave him $15,000, and I think this community has benefited more by his presence and the work that has been done. If anybody has tried to get your car into an auto repair shop lately, it takes a while.
Right.
So we need more of those auto repair shops to be able to address that. So that's the story of one person that has come in and it's making a difference. And I would tell you that there's 1,000 other stories that I can tell you that is helping this community become stronger and better. What you do for every couch that you give away, for every set of cutlery that you give away, every shampoo that you give away, it's your way of welcoming somebody into this community. And they always will remember that their success here largely depended on the support that they got. Their success is our success. So we should do this together.
That's a great point. When the community succeeds, we all succeed. If we individually succeed without the community, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Thank goodness we have the International Institute. I know it sounds trite, but my goodness, if I was from another country and I was coming to this country, it's good to know that there's a place I can land and that can help me with resources, get me on my feet, get me pointed in the right direction. I know you help with housing right off the bat. These new families, they don't know. I couldn't imagine going to a new country and, I got to find me an apartment. Right?
Yeah, and even more interesting because even with the resources, you can find an apartment, right? Because when you come to this country, you don't have a rental history. Right. You don't have a credit history.
Right.
And on arrival, you don't have a job. So that's why it's even more tricky when people arrive. So housing is really a big piece of the future of St. Louis. We really need to think about building more houses. And the work that we do here is holistic. So as you speak about English, we provide English support. Many people may be coming here for the first time, where I see people sign their names for the first time ever,
Wow.
and they're 60 years old. So we provide adult literacy classes. Innovative stuff that we've done. We've just built a new computer lab to provide basic computer learning because it's the basis of the labor market now. We have a driving simulator, so we have 28 people signed up now for our driving classes, so people can learn driving even without owning a car. So we're really doing some really innovative things here to help people integrate into the community. It's a wide range of things, preparing people for work, job readiness classes, preparing them for interviews. We have even helping them with financial literacy. How do we get them included into the financial system? Helping with individual saving accounts. How do you create one? How do you understand budgeting and paying your bills? We're really getting people ready to be part of this community and to succeed here. Again, if they succeed, we all succeed. That's what we're trying to build. So this is not just work of the International Institute. This must be a communal effort.
Right.
If we want St. Louis to prosper, let's all get involved. There's no contribution that is too small to make a difference. An hour of your time is worth a lifetime of experience. A dollar is going to go a long way to make a difference for somebody. Very simple things, hygienic pads for women, those things are really crucial when you come into a community and those first few months you're trying to find your feet. Everyone can contribute. Companies can do donation drives. Companies can create opportunities for their employees to contribute to the work of the organization. Churches, congregations can support the work of the Institute, and that way everyone in the community can play a part to making this happen.
That's an excellent point with the businesses, because many businesses have a work kind of focal point, like a mission of something outside of their own confines that they focus on, whether it's 1 or 2 days a year, or like this year we're going to focus on this particular group. And what a great group to focus with is the International Institute. And I just wanted to mention about the Welcome Corps, because maybe you have the ability and the time to embrace those who are coming in, and the Welcome Corps is a great way to do that. So I encourage you to go to the International Institute website, iistl.org, and find out more about that. I'm going to give you some quick questions. They're not going to be difficult, but what they are going to, short question, short answer. Give me a couple of the greatest needs right now for the Institute for the overall moving things forward?
Money.
Okay.
Simple. But household items. So there are 3 things that I would ask. One, we're a not-for-profit organization, and the more people we receive, the more we need to close some funding gaps. So donations would be great, and that can be done at iistl.org. Donated home items are also crucial because we're putting these people in houses. So any donated items, and hygienic items, cleaning items, cutlery, pots, pans.
Furniture kinds of things?
Yeah.
Okay.
All of that are things that we need to put in a home. So anything like that. And then volunteers. I can't ask for too much of this. But volunteerism is, when you volunteer here, you really get to understand the nature of our work. And most of the people who volunteer here keep coming back. And they want to grow in that spirit because of volunteerism. But I would really ask anybody, if you can carve out an hour of your time every quarter and just come out and walk with us for an hour, I think it's very gratifying.
An hour a quarter, Mark. Can you believe that?
That's nothing. That's nothing.
People spend more time on their phone
Or the couch.
Yeah. I also want to mention that something that I've never seen before or thought about is that you also will give tours. Now, this isn't tours like we're going to take a tour of the Arch or a tour of the History Museum or the Planetarium or whatever. It's a tour to understand the focus and hopefully to have people now become a volunteer or a supporter or some way involved in enhancing what the mission of the Institute is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I always try to invite people to this campus because when you come to the campus and we walk you around, we can tell you, we can put you in the shoes of our new arrivals. And at the end of that experience, you're absolutely going to understand why we need to be doing this. We've even had to do this in very challenging circumstances where people have misunderstood our work. And when we've brought them here and given them a tour of the campus, they really leave here becoming an evangelist of our work. And the more people understand and talk about this and bring their friends and family to be part of this experience, the more we build a welcoming St. Louis. And I think that's vital, that's crucial to the future of this community.
That's another great point, is a family coming down and having kids understand that people coming from other countries, what the need is. That really builds an understanding of what you were talking about, Ari, the total community. As they grow up, they have a real basis for understanding that. Because some people, this is going to be a foreign concept to them, even though they've lived here in the United States for a long time. They're like, why can't they do this? Why can't they do this? And that's we're living, again, off of somebody else's investment.
Yep.
Wow.
And I would also say this to families, please bring out the family to the Festival of Nations.
Yes.
Because that's also a great way to just understand different cultures, because that's who we are as a country, as a community, is that people are always going to come from different parts of the world. They're going to be our neighbors. Their children would play in sandboxes at school, in community parks, and let's find a way to work together. The more we work together as a community, despite the differences that we may have, whether physically, whether by ethnically, language, all of those things are a strength for us. It makes us stronger. It makes America unique. For somebody coming from a different country and coming here, there's so much beauty in the diversity of America that you wouldn't find anywhere else.
Another quick question. Name some of the countries where immigrants have come in from this past year?
I think we've continued to see huge number of arrivals from Ukraine, Afghanistan, the Democratic Republic of Congo. I think we're receiving our largest number of African arrivals because we're also seeing people coming from Central African Republic. We're seeing Sudanese and Somali arrivals. We're also very interesting because we're seeing a lot of people coming now from Myanmar, beginning to see a lot of Latino arrivals, so Venezuela, Nicaragua, Honduras. So it's all over the place. Iraq, we see Iraqi and Syrian arrivals. Interestingly, we're receiving from Vietnam too. So it's fascinating. When you travel across this country, if you went to different resettlement agencies, they're almost specialized in particular communities, right? St. Louis is unique. This is what we're building that's different. It's multicultural. We're receiving people from all over the world. That really will make us a stronger community than if we were receiving just a specific group.
Right.
So it means that we could build different communities in this community as opposed to just one that is homogeneous. But different groups are coming. They're going to stay here and they're going to build different communities here and they'll attract people from all over the United States to continue to move to St. Louis.
And that heterogeneous kind of grouping makes it even more challenging because of like the languages you mentioned.
Right. Yes.
It's not, we're just going to be this one group right here. So now everybody can learn that language or learn that culture. It's much more challenging.
Right.
I want to mention, if you're not a student of geography or history or what's going on in current affairs, the countries that he mentioned, look them up and find out why those people are coming here. It's because of conflicts and issues that are going on there that are oppressive. And we think, why would people, some people are like, we don't need, I don't want to get into the political thing about why do we need other people coming here? They're coming here because of a certain reason, because of the freedom that we offer.
We're a nation
and the
of
opportunity.
immigrants. Yeah.
We are an amazing country.
Yes, we are
think
amazing.
about it.
Yes, and we're all Americans. I guess.
I would always say that every refugee's hope is to go back to their home country.
Okay.
They never do.
Yeah.
They always hope
Homeland. Yeah.
that someday I'll go back, but they never do. Because those conflicts, when they begin, they never end, fortunately. And that's the nature of our work, unfortunately, is that people are coming to us through very traumatic circumstances. But the beauty of it is that we give them hope. We give them refuge. We give them the opportunity to start a new life, to be counted, to be seen, to be respected. And they play their part in building what the future holds.
Hope is a great four-letter word that people need to incorporate in their vocabulary much more.
What courage these families have, though, to leave their country and come to the United States and just hope everything works out. Thank goodness again for the International Institute.
Yes.
I don't know I can't imagine what I would do if I took my family and said, okay, let's go. It's not good here where we are, but we're going to go to another country and hopefully it'll work out better. But thank goodness you're there.
Hopefully when you get there, you find the International Institute, or you find somebody called Ari that can help.
I worry about some of the families that don't find International Institute. There's so many. You helping 100 a month or whatever. There's many more that aren't making their way here. So that's a little heartbreaking, but you shouldn't stop. We should keep reaching and trying.
Yeah.
We enjoy talking to Ari all the time. Ari, thanks for coming on the show again.
My pleasure.
It's good to see you again. Again, the Festival of Nations, which represents more than 30 countries, and music, visual arts, dance, food, all kinds of multicultural understanding.
And this year they're taking over all of Tower Grove
All
Park.
of Tower Grove. That's amazing. That is just amazing.
Yeah.
And that's August the 24th and 25th. Save the date and join the community for a celebration. Go to festofnations.com, and the theme is one region.
Mm-hmm.
Many nations, one region. I think that's a great show, Mark.
Yeah, it is.
Harry, again, thanks for coming on.
We're so glad
Good to
you're
see
here.
you again.
Pleasure.
Folks, that's all for this hour. We hope that you enjoyed what you heard. And if you want to hear more, you can go to stlintune.com, stlintune.com for more shows. I want to thank Bob Berthasell for our theme music and co-host Mark Langston. And we thank you for being a part of our community of curious minds. St. Louis in Tune is a production of Motif Media Group and the U.S. Radio Network. Remember to keep seeking, keep learning, walk worthy, and let your light shine. For St. Louis in Tune, I'm Arnold Stricker.